Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Volmer. And today's video is fingers in many pies. Yes, today there's loads of projects on the go. That's part of the video. We have new rolling stock, new items, not just rolling stock, but other new items, new DMU, and other bits and pieces, and just a general layout update and various other bits and pieces to go on. But before we start, my little homage to Robert at Robert's Train Set, and there you go. Welcome, Robert, if you're watching. A little sip for you. So welcome, and my mug of choice is obviously my beloved Class 50, and it says, "I like trains more than I like most people." So there's my railway mug, and that's my little homage to Robert's Train Set. And if that wasn't enough, I've got a little matching coaster for it. Oh, by the way, other locomotives are available from the stockist. You can have Class 20s, 47s, 37s. So if you are interested, this isn't a plug though, but like I said, sit back and enjoy my video with your beverage of choice. So where do we start today? Well, I don't know. There's so much to talk about. I really don't know. We'll start with this. My Class 60. Now you guys have seen it and probably saying, well, I've seen this. But the thing is with this Class 60, it has now been DCC converted. So it's ready to go and has been running on the layout. It hasn't actually had full conversion as of yet. It still needs the lights, which I've actually received. So I've received the lights for it, the LEDs, because I ran out of LEDs. I'm going to try some different ones. These are going to be slightly smaller and a slightly different brightness. So I'm quite looking forward to trying those, but I haven't actually done it as yet, but it is now DCC converted. So that's the first little bit. Now, the second bit is going to be, let me see, I've got a little selection here on my table. You can't actually see it, but we'll talk you through it. So something turned up this week, something quite random. I really wasn't expecting this at all. And I don't know exactly who it's from, but it has turned up. But I'm sure you know who you are, and thank you so much for the gift. And basically, I received this. This is a Colas Class 70 body shell with the two ends. Like I said, I have no idea. This just was a random thing that arrived. Wasn't expecting it. I know there's a couple of people in particular who knew about my wanting of a Class 70 in the Colas Rail Freight livery, and these are like rocking hard horsepower. It really are. I mean, it's to buy one. It's absolutely just, if you're lucky to get one, then you are, because they're just so difficult and they go for mega money as well. And this looks like a brand new body shell and not a mark on it, and it's complete with the two ends. So now I'm on the lookout for a chassis, and then that will then get converted to be running properly. So that's cool. So the next thing that's turned up on the layout is I've got something new. And this is, in the course of my upgrade to the layout, I've been looking at upgrading all sorts of things on the layout. One of the big things I've been trying to do is modernising some of my vehicles that I have. Because some of my vehicles are a bit dated now. As far as cars themselves and trucks, we're pretty well catered for by Oxford Diecast in producing some modern vehicles, both truck-wise and in cars. Where we're sort of lacking tends to be on the buses and coaches. And it's not even so much that, but some of the prices that they're going for are really, really expensive. Um, I mean, we complain about some of the prices that you pay for a wagon, for example, and some coaches and buses are going in excess of about £60, and that's just kind of crazy. So anyway, I had a little chit chat with Paul over at my local model shop, and I asked them about um, upgrading a coach. I actually want to get another coach. I've had this coach, which is it's not in its original box, it's actually in the box that the new coach has come in. But this is a Plaxton Paramount, and I've travelled on these a lot, and I love these. Like I said, I used to love travelling on the Plaxton Paramounts. It's one of my favourite coaches, actually. Um, and like I said, when I was a kid, I used to go around the country on the coaches, National Express, when I used to live with my parents in London. And I used to get the coach from Victoria to wherever the model railway exhibition was. So it was kind of like a bonus kind of thing, you know, because I was looking forward to going to the model railway exhibition, but at the same time, you know, the bonus was I was going to go by coach, and it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be an adventure. And once I've been to the exhibition, you know, rather than have that lull of, oh, it's finished, I still had the trip journey home to enjoy on the coach. And so I used to, back in my day when I was travelling around on coaches, I was travelling on the Plaxton Paramount a lot, and also Plaxton Premier, and I think the Javelins as well. I think they were called as well. I haven't actually got any of those other coaches. But the thing is, as much as I love the Plaxton Paramount, this is like a H plate or a J plate, which is more like late 80s, early 90s. So obviously the era that I'm currently modelling is not really suited. It's just a bit on the older side. Although I love this dealing, I won't sell it or anything. And like I said, if I decide to do a blue running session, I could just swap it out if I really wanted to. So what actually came in this is, so I spoke to Paul, and I asked Paul about it, and he said, yeah, I've got a couple of coaches. He said, if you want to Google the codes, you can have a look, see what they've got, and you can see whether or not it's the ones that you want. So he gave me the codes. I stuck it in Google, came up with some images, and I saw one, and I went, that's the kiddie, that's the one I want. And it's in a special livery. It's in a National Express livery, in the Armed Forces Day livery, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's a Caetano Levante. I see these a lot in Basingstoke on my travels. They still run around, both in single axle, or at the back, or double, or you can say triaxle, whichever you want to call it. But this is one that's heading towards Bristol, which is brilliant because my layout is set sort of First Great Western Southwest train, so it's that part of the world. So it fitted in absolutely perfectly. It's also on I believe it's a 59 plate, and so that again sort of ties in with where I'm at with the layout. So basically I've now updated this vehicle, and the thing is about this coach, is that it cost me it was supposed to be 33, but it cost me £28, which I thought was a really reasonable price, considering that a lot of coaches and buses tend to be, like I said, on the more expensive side. Some of the older EFE stuff you can sometimes pick up cheap from Hattons and things like that, if they have them. I have bought stuff from them before, which is relatively cheap, but obviously it depends on whether they fit in with your era and whether or not your region too. Some of the other projects I've got on the go is I've got some new transfers for a couple more projects that I've got. I have some EMR transfers, and I've also got a GBRF transfers as well. The GBRF is for my final Class 60, which I've yet to do, which hasn't arrived yet because it's still in eBay or a shop somewhere. I haven't bought it yet. The EMR is to do some more, create some more failed HST sets and also drags and things like that, which I would like to do. So I'll be making some of those. So that's going to be really cool when I get hold of some HSTs. I'm going to create some more different liveried ones. And because I've seen some real life footage of Class 60s doing drags with various different EMR sets and things like that. And in fact, one of the 60s that was pulling it was actually this Kappa one. So that will fit in tie nicely, because I was kind of wondering about what sort of wagons I was going to try and get for this. So that will have something to do, drag some old rolling stock about. Something else, a little while ago, oh, hang on, I haven't finished with the VTG yet. Sorry, with the transfers. So again, this week, 2 days ago, Railtech Transfers sent me some more transfers. These are VTG ones, and I'm looking forward to these. These are going to be for my new rake of wagons which I've received, which I will show you shortly. And they will be resprayed, repainted and weathered and rust effects on these wagons. At the moment they are as is from the box, but I'll talk to you more about that as we turn the camera around. My last thing I'd like to talk to you about whilst I'm sitting here on the sofa is I'd like to talk to you about these tank wagons. These tank wagons, again, is another project that I'm considering giving a respray, giving them a repaint. So I haven't quite decided, but this is another one that I'm considering at some point to be doing. And as you can get by the title, Fingers in Many Pies, I've got lots going on. But the point is about this particular tanker right now is that it's got some metal wheels on it. And that's something that I've done a little while ago. But the point of the metal wheels is because I've still got some metal wheels here, and these are the Hornby R8096, I believe is the code for them. And these are the wheels that I've used to replace all the plastic ones. These are all the plastic ones from the tanks that I've kept, bagged. They might be used on the layout somewhere in terms of maybe TMD, rusting away or something like that. Kind of stuff like that, trackside rubbish, that kind of thing. So I might use them, but I've just kept them anyway. But I'm intending, because I've got my Pullman coaches, which I'll show you, and some of them are on plastic wheels, and I've got enough here to re-wheel one coach. So I might even have enough to do two, but I think some of them are actually on metal wheels anyway. I don't think all of them were on plastic wheels. So I'm not exactly sure how many I'd actually need. And I need to check the diameter as well. I think they're the right diameter as well. And so if they are, then I can do a straight swap, and hopefully those coaches will glide a little bit better and a little bit easier. So now it's time to spin you around. So see you shortly. So welcome to the layout, and here is my DB Schenker Hornby Class 60. This is the official all singing, all dancing 60. This particular 60 has now had a TTS chip fitted to it, and so that's now running with that, and it needs a better speaker. I tried fitting in one of the other speakers, a mega bass speaker, but I couldn't get it in properly, and the body wouldn't sit right. I know that you can get it in. You have to kind of cannibalize the engine compartment a bit, which is at this end if you can. But I've done that before, and I didn't really want to do that. So I'm just going to get some more speakers from Roads and Rails, and I'm going to replace the speaker on it. At the moment, it sounds exactly the same as the other TTS speaker, which is in the other 60, and which isn't great. But I'll give it a listen. So I'm just going to send this, move it forward a bit. Okie dokie, right, I'll stop right there. And I'll shut this down. So here you can see in front of you is my new rake of wagons. These are PTA wagons, and there are 8 of them in total. And they are ARC wagons. They are Hornby Railroad version wagons. These are not the Acura scale ones. These are not the all singing, all dancing. However, these were very, very reasonably priced. I bought them as a complete set of 8. And so these are going to be repainted into the grey VTG colours. I have the paint already. So it's just a case of another project to be working on. And as you can see, I've started making some wagon loads. I've got the foam board inserts in them, and basically ready for me to create some more wagon loads for them. But at the moment, they're just still in their original state. They've got decouplings on it. They're not removable in terms of they're not just a push fit ones and swap them out for NEMs. But to be honest, to my surprise, they've got metal wheels and they run really lovely. So I'm really, really pleased with them. And there's 8 of them and they run really, really lovely. So I'm really pleased. So we're going to just send them on their merry way. So hello again. So the next thing to talk to you about is what's behind me. And it's twofold. Well, it's actually threefold. One's less obvious than the other. But basically, I've created a brand new extension to the layout. And this is it. Those of you who remember, it was basically just up to the engine shed here. So all of this up to here is now brand new. I've been wanting to extend the layout a little bit, just to give me a bit more flexibility in my running and storage needs. So I've built this extra, I think it's about 1 foot. I haven't finished with it yet by any stretch of the imagination, because the track is still hardwired to the main layout. Now the idea of this bit is it basically comes out in 3 sections. You've got the main layout, which is just ahead there, and then there's this bit here, which is up to the main shed, which is one piece, the second piece as it were, and then the third piece is still the original extension. So this actual bit here is actually isn't connected to the main bit at the back, but it is all connected via the throat over there, which I'll show you in a minute. It's not ideal, to be fair, but it's a way of trying to address some of my storage needs that I require. I have got another idea floating around to try and make the most of this. But the actual extension, right on cue, there's a 450 just passing by. But this extension here doesn't actually encroach into my living space. And I'll show you that why shortly. So I'm just going to spin you around and we'll take a closer look. So as you can see from this shot, you see where all the three sections come together. You've got the main layout, which is here. This is the front bit, and then this is the original one, the original extension at the back here. Now this, as you can see, is still hasn't been severed yet, so I haven't actually connected it yet electrically through the plugs that I'm going to be fitting. This is still at the kind of testing side of it, but I'm quite pleased with that. I'm not really too pleased with the fact that the point is right at the front. But the thing is, I have to try and maximize the length because of my HST that I want to fit in here, which is the castle set, which is, if I spin you around, you'll see what I mean here. This is the HST at the front, and this is literally it literally encroaches virtually all the way at the end, and this is at its full stop at the other end. So there really isn't a huge amount of space to play with. I was just using this set here, which I hadn't run for a while, just to do the testing to see if it will fit. And as you can see, it virtually goes all the way down towards the end of the wall, but it's not up against the wall because basically this section needs to slide out so I can then lift it to remove it. It's made out of very lightweight components, so it doesn't weigh a huge amount. The only thing is I'd have to take the trains off or put them onto the layout before lifting it. But I think it's a small price to pay. I mean, I did originally have it down here until I put Borderland Gardens, but I was determined at this time around that I wasn't going to do that. I just literally takes up the same width as the bookcase, which was originally there anyway, so I haven't lost anything. It's not encroaching anymore into my living space, so I've actually gained rather than lost. And I've actually gained 5 tracks as opposed to the 4 I was originally thinking I was going to get. So I still want to put some doors on that cabinet there, and so that's going to hide everything away and smarten things up. I think the fascia boards does a massive thing, which again I'll show it to you from a distance so you can see. I'm toying with the idea of making another engine shed exactly the same as that, to complement that one, to go here on this side. I'm not sure yet if that's still going to be the plan. I haven't really 100% decided yet. There is a bit of wriggle room gap here between this edge and the edge up to that train care depot, so I can actually fit another engine shed. So I might very well be doing that. I'd spoken to Tony this week, Tony Northeastern, a very good friend of mine, and if you haven't seen his channel, go and check it out, it's amazing. And he was talking to me about possibly putting some vents on the top, so I might go back and revisit that and add some vents onto the top of that. So at the moment I've got, I think it's 8 at the moment. Yeah, I've got 8 storage lines, which isn't bad. I can't complain, to be honest with you. It's enough. So I'm just going to show you a bit more closer. So as you can see from this side, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the one on the far corner, which is 8. So that's really, really cool. This is kind of going to be my Great Western sort of area where I'm going to store my first Great Western stuff. I've got my Pullman 73 here, and this is the one that's sound fitted with Coastal DCC. I know that this particular coach here has got plastic wheels on it, so I'm going to re-wheel this one. And I know this one here, which is the kitchen one, that one there has got metal wheels on it, and I think there's another one at the back that also has got metal wheels, so I'm not exactly sure how many wheels I actually need to change and see what the diameter is. And like I said, there's actually another storage space for another Southwest train. So this is the Southwest trains, the original train shed, and like I said, I'll probably be making another one to go across these ones. As you can see, I've got the first grade, the GWR 158 over there. So this brings us on to my new DMU that I've purchased, and actually it's the one that's directly in front of you, which is this Batman Class 166 in the first Great Western colour scheme of 2006. Now, I've been after one of these for a very, very, very long time. They are so hard to get hold of, like it's unreal. And I was lucky to pick this up, to be fair, for a pretty cheap price considering today's prices. If this was still back in the same day, if they were charging the price that I paid for it, as in back then it would be considered as quite expensive. But because by today's standards, this is very, very cheap. I paid £200 for this, which I think is absolutely a real bargain for a 3-car unit. My GWR was 295 with sound, I think it was, and 220 without sound. So, and that's a 2-car unit. Okay, you can turn around and say it's up to date, it's more up to date than this one. But for a 3-car unit, this hasn't been updated at all. Batman was supposed to be releasing a GWR version of the 166, but I don't know if that's been cancelled or not. I think it's either been delayed or it's been cancelled, because I think they took it off their catalogue. I do remember seeing it on there. But I've always wanted the blue one. I tend to I've travelled on the blue ones a lot, and between Basingstoke and on the Basingstoke to Reading line, they use these 166s a lot, and so I've travelled on them plenty, and I really wanted to have one for the layout. The lovely thing about this one, because I mean the other thing is it's actually an older unit, which means that there's no electrical connections between the coaches. They're literally separated, which is good in terms of packing away, because they're exactly the same, it's original. But the thing is, if you were to convert it, you'd either have to hardwire all the coaches together, or you'd have to put individual decoders on each of them to get the lights to work properly in the DCC mode. This particular 166, not only was it in absolute mint condition, pristine, not a single mark on the actual unit, and considering it's got the white roof on it, it's been well looked after. But it's also DCC fitted with 3 separate decoders. So there's a decoder in each unit, so to make sure that the lights operate as they should. Although there is a slight fault with them, I'm not quite sure what it is. I haven't actually got to the bottom of it, because they work, but then sometimes they just cut out, and I'm not sure why they're cutting out from time to time. So I need to check the pickups and have a look at it. But again, that's another little thing to look at. It hasn't got any sound in it yet. I have looked at getting sound files for it. I don't believe there is any sound files at all for the Batman 166, because I have checked, and it seems like the DCC Coastal ones and Legoman Biffo and Olivia's Trains all use reworks of the 158 sound, because that is actually the same engine that's actually in the 158 that's in the 166. So a lot of people do put the 158 engine sounds into the 166 because it sounds pretty much the same, which I might very well do. I haven't actually decided yet. So you can see it's got running lights both directions. As you can see, it's got the red lights on it, and also has the yellow ones. She runs like a dream, considering how old this is. It just runs really, really sweet. I love it. I think it's brilliant, and we'll show you some clips of it running. So that concludes the end of this video for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and cheers, Robert. Bye from Mildenhall and Volmer. Bye bye.